The Coca-Cola company is laying off over 240 employees as part of efforts to enable a stay in business. Now, this company began the layoffs today in response to the worsening effects of the power crisis on its operations. And General Secretary of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, Solomon Coca, says his outfit is inundated with redundancy letters from manufacturing companies. He warns the unemployment situation in this country could worsen if drastic measures are not taken to resolve the power crisis. But let's try and understand the effect of this power crisis on these manufacturing companies like Coca-Cola. Let's understand the extent of damage it's doing to them. With me in the studio is my colleague George Wiafe from the business desk. Thanks to George for joining us here.
Hi, good morning.
Help us understand the whole layoff situation in industry.
Let's start first with Coca-Cola, and we understand that as far back as last year, they are facing a lot of challenges with their operations, not only in Ghana, but in Angola, in Algeria, Botswana, and South Africa. So there was a directive, or let's say an agreement with their parent company that is headquartered in Barcelona, that you have to do some restructuring going forward. Again, we understand that for the Ghana unit in particular, they're having issues with demand for their product. Competition, you know, health issues and other things, a lot of products that are fizzy drinks on the market. So competition hasn't been that easy for them as well. So
it isn't about the power crisis?
Not mainly due to the power crisis, but rather the power situation has compounded the issue as we speak right now. So the competition is one. Also, they also say that they have a lot of personnel right now, which they don't actually need. So I think it's gotten to the time where we have to actually let some of our workers go home.
So now, are these permanent workers or just
what we understand from Coca-Cola, speaking to their director of communications, that is Isaac Kenji, is saying that they actually agreed with the union that 211 of their workers would actually go home. Now, some of them have gone home already. We understand that another batch should go home by the end of this month, and also by June they hope that 211 of these workers would go home. Now, majority of them will come from the production unit, or those who actually work on the plant. So maybe for the administrative staff, you wouldn't see much of them going home. Also, we also understand from Coca-Cola is that their production plant in Kumasi will be converted into just a distribution outlet. So, you know, last year the cedi depreciation, now they are seeing the hits on their books. So the power is just one of the issues that has compounded or actually pushed them to go ahead with this restructuring now. With or without the power, this restructuring would have
taken place anyway. So they're not just laying off workers, they're cutting back on production as well.
Production, we understand that no, because the argument from Coca-Cola is that even the Accra plant alone can produce for the whole country. So why do you want to keep another plant in place? So the argument is that we are not cutting down on production, but we are rather cutting down on personnel, which is actually affecting us in terms of our cost operations and all those things. But power is one of the issues, but not the main issue for them laying off these workers.
But Coca-Cola is just an example of an industry player that is laying off workers. We have some people also who have sent home some of their workers.
For now, the names are not out, but again, engaging these companies, last year's cedi's depreciation was a major hedge for them.
But they tell us that the cedi is reviving.
That was last year. Don't forget that for most of the companies, they are now closing their books. So they are now feeling the real impact. Imagine that you were expecting to make about $10 million last year. Now, because of this hit that you suffered with respect to getting more cedis to buy these dollars, you maybe ended up making just $2 million. Now, don't forget that this $2 million is going to go into expansion, bonus, hiring new staff and all those things. So there's a hit there because of the cedi depreciation. Now, the business environment, obviously, for a lot of businesses, is not good for them, you know, in terms of the power crisis, in terms of taxes and all those things. So you have to grapple with all these challenges. Now, faced with this cut in budget for this year, how are you going to spend with this limited funds that's available to you? Staff is always a major thing for a lot of businesses, where you have to pay SNIT, bonuses, or other packages as well. So often the staff numbers are the easiest thing to do, to slash down on the number and look at how you can work with the limited budget that you have. So the power has compounded issues. You have to spend more on your fuel for this year. How do you manage as a business? So the best thing for you to do, or what they say is the best thing for them to do, is to allow some of these workers to go home. We hear that more businesses might also be announcing this restructuring and downsizing the operations actually. So if you have about 3 plants scattered across the country, maybe it might be good just to work with 1 plant. And a typical example of what Coca-Cola is doing is to convert that manufacturing plant to a distribution outlet. Don't forget when British American Tobacco, when they actually cut down on production here in Ghana, ended up being a distribution outlet. Even with Unilever, some products are no longer manufactured here. They bring them from other countries and then distribute it on the market. So
most of this shrinking will occur in the manufacturing sector?
Basically, yes.
I mean, the obvious effect is the fact that people will be unemployed.
Well, but they are the easiest thing to do now for when you engage most of these companies, that because of the impact on our books, the fact that we have to pay a lot more workers, those are the first casualties that we have to deal with.
At the end of the day, how do we see this affecting the general economy in terms of the contribution of manufacturing to the
Interesting. Now, don't forget that the more you produce, basically, the more money you make, and then you also you pay certain taxes to government. So we could see a possible decline in the taxes that these firms will be paying to government.
Indeed.
Don't forget, at the staff level, if I employ you, Kemini, if I employ the cameraman over there, you're going to pay income tax. So imagine if I'm laid off, I can't pay that income tax again. Now, don't forget the direct companies or the service provider. Let us say Coca-Cola in Kumasi. Maybe you source water from maybe an area in Kumasi. If you're going to cut off the manufacturing firm to distribution outlet, you're no longer going to take that tank supply from that company in Kumasi there. Now imagine that those workers go to the factory, they go to Antimansa to buy wachi and eat, if I'm not going to walk into that factory again to produce, that wachi seller is not going to get anybody to buy his food. So it trickles down like that in taxes, in direct employment to people, indirect employment to people, the whole environment. And don't forget that these lorries, these buses also that go into these areas, go there because I'm carrying Kemini's sister to that factory. So if you're not going there any longer, there wouldn't be any service for that tractor driver to go to make some money, buy petroleum products, pay taxes at the end of the day. Thank you very much, George, for joining us here. George Riafe is here at Joy News with the business desk. Now, if you're affected by any of these layoffs, or you're in a company that intends to lay off, get in touch with us here at Joy News on TV, on Twitter, and on Facebook, facebook.com/Joy News on TV. There's more to come here. Don't go away.